We are very excited to welcome a special guest to Just Dance today, Rhapsody James, creative director, dancer, choreographer, teacher, the list goes on. She's worked with so many amazing artists like Beyoncé, Janet Jackson, Ariana Grande, and again, the list goes on. Rhapsody, thank you for spending time with us on the show.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I don't think I probably shouldn't even I feel like I'm gonna cry because to even just be on the Zoom with like what? Tina Landon? Like I'm sorry. Like I know this is it to be me, but it's insanely a big moment in my life right now. So I just want you to know that it's very major for me.
Well, we
But
appreciate that. And I know Tina does too. And what's great is all the choreographers that we've interviewed so far, it's so great for Tina to get her flowers because everybody's been so excited to speak to Tina. And I love that she's been such an influence, in your life. So can we start there? Actually, I'm going to ask you about your background first, but I just want to ask, like, how did Tina come into your existence? Like, how did you find out about her first in life?
what? Okay, well, first of all, like what? I mean, obviously, of course, Janet Jackson, obviously. But along with you, Tina, like me seeing the whole Janet wave, I always was somebody of like research, right? So I always would like research. And then I was like, wait a minute. She was this kind of dancer, she did this, and all of the things that you did before really like just inspired me. So then when I saw you doing what was the first thing? Okay, so let's go back to like the Rhythm Nation, like VHS tape, the behind the scenes, like when you watch the VHS tape and then after you guys did the so right, the interviews and stuff like that, right? So that's when it was just like dancer, right? And everything like that. I was just like, oh, I want to be like one of those dancers and get into that. Fast forward all the way to now when you're doing making the video and all of that kind of stuff. That is when I was like, she choreographed all of this. Are you crazy? And I was just like, I have to be like her. And the reason it wasn't only just for like dance steps, it's just because I just loved your discipline. My favorite moment that stood out to me is when you were practicing If. It was the behind the scenes, and you were on the floor. I remember you was on the floor, you had your cut like this, and you were cleaning Janet and Sean and all of them, and you were telling them like, no, this is what I need. No, you're late. This is how, you were really like just on them because I think I just saw your passion for your art. And that just resonated to me. And the fact that it was just incredible to the incredible music, I was just blown away because I wanted to be a choreographer with that much respect and of the person that got that much respect, but also a person that cared enough about their work because I cared about my work the same way.
That is,
So
I'm glad you liked it because I don't think the dancers did.
I'm sure they were like, but seeing that was really a great thing. I know social media, you see everything all the time now, but right. I think that was the great thing about, so to say, back then, is because you saw the work, but then when you had an opportunity to really see behind the scenes, you really like appreciated it even more. And right. You're just so on it. You're just on it. And you like, I mean, if nobody's ever told you, like, you literally changed the dance world for real. Like, I don't care what anybody says, like, for real. Like, whoo, don't get me started. Bring it up. Okay.
All right, well, we're done here.
Well, we're done, right?
Rhapsody, how did you start your career? How did you get going? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, believe it or not, I wanted to.
Before, go even further before your career. Like, when did you start dancing? Like, where did you live? What got you inspired? How old were you? Like, how did all of that happen for you?
Goodness. okay, so if we want to go way back to the beginning of time, I was just always somebody that would just dance in my room and things like that. I was the girl that was at the family reunion, right? So it was just like, all right, let Rhapsody go on and do the dance, you know, at the family reunion. So I was always the one to get the party started. And I remember when I had to, you know, I had to do a number for the family reunion show, you know, where everybody, it was talent day, you know, and everybody put together a talent. And so my mom was just like, Rhapsody's gonna dance. And so I danced to Control, Janet Jackson. And I I remember my family saying, she can really dance. She can really dance and she should, you know, dance and stuff. And dance was just a hobby for me. My uncle used to DJ as well. So I was just really inclined to like, you know, I learned how to DJ and work the turntables at like 10 years old. So I would always just play music, watch videos, and dance. Like it was just like, that was all the things that happened at my grandmother's house. So that moment was, I would say, would be the first Rhapsody performance in the sense of like dance was the focus thing and I was doing something that was really cool. Fast forward all the way up into dance was just a hobby. So we get all the way to skip all the way to college, because even in high school, dance was just dance. I never really thought about being a dancer or a choreographer because you had to, you know, it was only dance companies at that time, right? It was like, and if you wanted to do anything commercially, you had to have your jazz training. You had to be trained. You couldn't just jump in and say, here I am, I'm just going to do something. So I was like, well, I'm not trained in ballet and I'm not, you know, I just like to dance. So, and I was okay with that. And so I also draw too. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be in advertising design. So I went to high school to be in advertising design. And then I realized it was like super duper competitive and I didn't like that aspect of it. Go figure. So I decided to get into dance. That's weird. I'm like, from one competitive world to another. That was weird. And then by the time I got to college, there was I don't know if you remember this MTV show. It was called Lip Service. It was like the original lip sync battle that is now. But it's compared to like lip sync battle now, but it was called Lip Service. And basically it came to my college. I went to Purchase College, upstate New York. And they came and they did a you know, like the preliminary, you know, hey, who wants to be on the show? And we had to lip sync. Fast forward, got on the show, got to the semifinals, got to the finals. We won the whole entire prize, which was a $30,000 music video. I had to sing, we had to not sing, but we had to lip sync to What a Man, Salt and Pepper. So my friends were, oh my gosh. So that was my first real experience of a music video. And like, I'm like, whoa, so this is what a choreographer does. And this is, you know, my whole experience of like, it's just a dance company and was like, I was like, wait a minute.
Wow.
That I could like, I can do what, you know, all the things I want to do. Okay. And then from there, that's when I was like, I want to be a choreographer.
Wow.
And then with all of that, not for nothing, seeing you and, you know, and many others as influencers for me, and you guys were doing it at that time. I was just like, I'm okay with putting my time in for this, because I was like, if I'm going to be a choreographer, I don't want to just be a choreographer. Like, I don't even know what a choreographer is. I just know if this is it, then I want to do it. So I was just like, okay, I know in order for me to be a choreographer, I have to be able to teach. So I need to be able to teach. So that way, when I'm on a set, I would think that I need to know like vocabulary and just the ins and outs of what happens on a set. I said, but if I'm gonna teach choreography, wouldn't I need to be good at teaching? So that's literally like, that's kind of how I thought about
So interesting.
becoming a choreographer. It had nothing to do with perks. I just knew that I wanted to be the best that I could be. And in order to do that, I knew that I had to follow certain steps, because I didn't want to I didn't want to step, believe it or not, I didn't want to step on anybody else's toes, pretending to be something that I wasn't. But that the times were different back then too. So
Right.
you were kind of checked if you weren't what you say you were anyway. So I kind of already knew that I couldn't take that route if I just wanted to just.
So you had major performance, got all your kind of on the job experience. But it's funny when you say that, because I'm kind of like that too. Like when I look back, I can see that I did all the training, but for me, it was the same thing. Like, ooh, I want to learn that. Oh, someone's spinning on their head. I want to learn that. Like, I didn't really I would do the research after, but I would just like run face in going, I want to do that. What is that? Who's doing that? I want to do that. And then like, wait, that was like for me going, wait, I can get paid. And I can get paid for doing what I've been doing like for 18 years. Like people, I just didn't understand that at all. So how did you so from your kind of aha moment, and then you kind of went back and like I love that you went back and did the research and figured out what you needed, right? Not necessarily what somebody else needed or the way somebody else did. It's like, okay, you put kind of A, B, and C together for you. And then how did you break in? Like,
well, I think for me too, I think it was a mental, like I made the decision to the fact of like, I literally remember saying to myself, if this takes me 15 years to become a choreographer that I want to be, then so be it. So I already have put so many years on doing the work that I like everything that was happening that happened in my life that I didn't feel like, some people now, especially now, like if they don't get certain things fast enough, they feel like they're not, that's not something they should do. But for me, I was ready to put the work in. So, so my first process was one, learn how to teach. And so I actually started with kids.
yeah,
I started teaching at, the dance studios, and because logically in my brain, I was like, if I could teach kids, then I probably can teach adults.
if you can teach, kids are the hardest. You have to keep, and they are literally like teaching a kid for 30 minutes feels like 5 hours if it's just a one, right? Or if you have, because when I started, it was the same thing, right? It was like, I was very young. I think I was 15. It was like, okay, well, we'll give you, I was more like the assistant at the studio. I didn't get classes, right? So they're like, okay, we'll start you with the babies. Do you know how long an hour is when you have 15 3 to 5-year-olds in a room and with tabs on, like making it? I'm like, I would just like, I need a break. I have to go to the bathroom. I gotta go make a phone. I gotta get out of this room. Like it, and it's a whole different set of patience, right?
Yeah.
It really kind of helps you. It helps you understand, like, okay, maybe I'm not making myself clear. It helps you with your communication. It helps you with your level of patience. And then it also helps you to go, yeah, no, I'm not giving into that.